Hello YouTube, it's Lion here with Hobbies and Man. Today we have another manga review. We're going to be looking at Dragon Ball, specifically the General Blue arc, which is chapter 70 to 83. I'm not going to go over the book facts because at this point I think everyone knows what Dragon Ball is. And this part of the story is still under the Red Ribbon Army saga, which goes up to chapters 112, I think. Right off the bat, the rating for this is a 3 out of 5. This was probably the worst part of the story, or at least the worst part of the saga, even though this saga is pretty good. At this point, I have read the whole thing, so I'm just reviewing it per arc. But this one was definitely a low point because the second half of this very short arc kind of is a crossover with Dr. Slump, and I didn't really like that because it kind of really, cramped the style of Dragon Ball, and it also kind of tied in with something I don't care about or I haven't checked out yet. I'm definitely looking forward to reading Dr. Slump later on at some point, but I do think that crossover element kind of bogged down the series a bit. So, or at least bogged down this arc, right? So, yeah, the premise here is basically that Bulma has decided to join Goku on this adventure, thinking that it's going to be something simple and easygoing, and mostly because she's just bored of school, and actually ends up realizing that Goku is battling with an evil organization, and she kind of gets upset at that. So, yeah, the plot line is pretty simple, but it is pretty fun for the first half of the section of the story. So Bulma and Goku fly towards the ocean. Eventually, they reach the area where they think the Dragon Ball is located. Goku goes into the ocean, tries to dive, but can't actually hold his breath long enough to get as deep as he needs to go. So they go over to Master Roshi's house to see if he has any tools or any capsules that can be used to explore the sea floor. It turns out they can because Roshi has this flying machine that also is a submarine, which is really cool. It's very effective. And while this is happening, General Blue is tracking them and also decides to do a two-prong attack. One group is going to attack in the ocean, and the other group is going to attack Master Roshi's home because they think that this place is Goku's base of operations. And of course, they get beat. They get the shit beat out of them because Master Roshi is God tier, right? So, yeah. So basically, no one important is at Master Roshi's house, but he beats the shit out of all of them, and he actually, I think, gets a little bit of help from Lunch, who manages to be in her evil form at the time. And actually, I do think that this is the turning point for Lunch, where she stops giving a fuck and she stays with Roshi and stuff. But I don't know if that's because Akira Toriyama decided to drop that plot point, or if there was some other reason. It's not like a character moment. It just kind of starts happening here that Lunch is kind of, in whatever form is most useful at the time. But yeah, so while this is happening, Goku, Bulma, and Krillin are down in the ocean. They end up finding out that this place that they were looking into is a pirate base, which has really high-tech technology, but like the skeleton of the pirate was like wearing 16th century clothing. So what the heck? It was a really weird kind of anachronistic kind of moment there, but it was fun. And they find the Dragon Ball. General Blue also ends up there. And he battles them. He beats the crap out of Krillin. He says mean things to Bulma. And he almost beats Goku as well. But Goku eventually manages to beat him up. But I think Blue survives and actually chases them out of the water later on. He actually also captures them once they're at Master Roshi's house. And Goku has gathered all of these Dragon Balls. I think at this point he has 4 of them? 3 of them? I don't remember how many he has. But he has a few of them. And Blue captures them with some telekinetic powers he has. And then escapes with the with the Dragon Balls. And then this is the end of the good part of the chapter, or the good part of the arc. Then Blue ends up at Penguin Village, and so does Goku, and it's actually not a very fun time. I didn't really enjoy this. Like, in and of itself, it's not that bad. It's all right. But in the context of this adventure that Goku is having to find these Dragon Balls to save Upa's father, it's a very annoying, unnecessary detour. I didn't really like it, and it was pretty disappointing. I was actually pretty unhappy when I finished reading this last night. So, I didn't really like it. So, it is what it is. In terms of characters, basically everyone is back. General Blue is a bad guy. He happens to be an Esper, and he also has this thing against women. I don't know necessarily why that is. It's mostly played as a gag, and mostly because Bulma tries to pull moves on him because he's a hot guy, and he very vehemently opposes all of these moves because ill girls. So it's kind of funny, but it's also just like, whatever, man, you know, move on. So that's what we'll do now. In terms of world building, nothing really new except the fact that there's psychic people. I think that wasn't really established before, but at this point in the Dragon Ball world, basically anything that you can think of exists, and it doesn't really matter how it got there, it just matters that it's there, right? And nothing new except Penguin Village. So, yeah, also I'm pretty sure Penguin Village is not, like it's canon to Dragon Ball, but it's not going to be a relevant place. They're probably never going to go back to Penguin Village, so, you know, you can just forget about it as soon as the chapters in its end, which is great. In terms of artwork, it's good, it's fun, and really enjoyable, but there hasn't been any level up in terms of how the art feels right now, so there really isn't too much to say. In terms of fan service, I think there's a little bit here because Bulma is in her underwear as she had to go into the water, and she actually ends up in her underwear for like 2/3 of the chapters. So about like 6 or 7 chapters, she is basically just walking around in her underwear. So it is fan servicey. It is what it is. It's not really that big of a deal. It's not going to make or break the series for you because at this point there's been worse things happening in the series. So yeah, rating wise, this is a 3 out of 5. It lost me at the Penguin Village part of the story. I just really did not like that part. But it is interesting in the sense that it introduced me to Dr. Slump. I knew about Dr. Slump. I was probably never going to read it. And honestly, I might still not read it because I didn't like how it affected Dragon Ball in this part of the story. But it is not something that I'm necessarily opposed to. So, you know, cross-promotional material in your own series is not that bad. It's just kind of lost me because it kind of dragged down the series for me a little bit. So yeah, that's all I have to say about this. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in the next video.